Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Andrew Lacey, and welcome to the Zoom call. I was debating today on was I going to talk about every day's the key or in the 7 steps to success in prospecting, prospect every day. Actually, they're interwoven. You know, when I was growing up, I didn't know that every day was the day when I got home from work, I had to go out and do chores. But that was part of my childhood was to come home from school, change clothes, and go out to do chores on the farm. And it was every day, including Saturday. The only day we had off was Sunday. I just was if you have your book, um 7 Proven Beliefs in Business and Life, chapter 4 is every day is the key. And it talks about that when I was a senior in high school, I spent 3 weeks in the summer at a dairy, and every day, Monday through Sunday, 365 days a year, we had to go out and milk cows in the morning and afternoon. There was no day off. And going further on every day is the key that we had to, at Camp David, it doesn't matter if it's snowing, if it's zero, if it's what it is raining, at 24/7, it has to be guarded. Camp David has to be guarded, just like the Marine Corps barracks. In business, I didn't understand in business when I went into real estate that every day was the key. But I was doing business in a way that I try to tell people you can work 24/7 and make no money in real estate. Let me say it again. You can work 24/7 in real estate and not make any money. I'm a prime example of that. If you look here, my first 8 years, I made less than $50,000 a year, the number of closings that I had. And as I said many times, my life changed in 1991. And so I want to go to let's talk about this. I came back and started prospecting every day. And I want to talk about that a second. When I talk about prospecting every day, there's 365 days in a year. You don't need to prospect Saturday and Sunday, so that's 104 days. So that takes it down to 251. And then 2 weeks vacation, that's 10 days, Monday through Friday. Now we're down to 241. Is that right? 241?
251.
251. And then take 8 days out of that for holidays. That takes it down to 243. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
But as I watch agents that I've trained over the last 30 years, if you can get over 200 days a year prospecting, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. The key is getting people to do it. So when I say every day is the key, when I say prospect every day you come to work, very few people ever understand that and get it. I can speak from a personal experience, and I never missed a day Monday through Friday. And that's why I went from 27 closings to 60, 60 to 75, 75 to 163. That's how I became in the top 10 internationally with Coldwell Banker, because I never missed a day. Sherry Puffer was the first person I ever coached. She never missed a day for 8 years. She went from 90,000 to 1,250,000 in income. But she never missed a day. I never missed a day. And I don't understand. I can't understand that I have shown you so many examples is if you don't miss a day and you learn how to and you get better at how to, your income is going to go up 10 times, 20 times, 30 times more. So I want to focus on the next few weeks. We're going to break down each one of the steps to success in prospecting. The first one's prospect every day. Could somebody read start about the 15th chapter and start reading for me as every day's the key? Good morning. Good morning. I guess not. You must be on mute.
Andrew, good morning. It's Alan.
Good morning.
Good morning. Do you mean from roughly 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll read it. Roughly 10 years ago, I was getting ready for a program in Spartanburg. And that morning, as I was getting ready, I was thinking about the people that I worked with who were going to be there. That one thing I could say to them that would help them immediately go back and have more business. I knew this young man was going to be there. His name's Alan Schwartzentruber from Greenville, South Carolina. One of the finest men I've ever known. That morning, I decided I was going to do something that would change his life or never see him again. I was going to push Alan.
Okay, stop right there a second for me, please. This is an extra part of the call. I am a person that would rather push someone to greatness, challenge them, than to let them just continue through life being less than they can be. And my ability to see that what someone can become is probably one of the greatest gifts that I have. And every person I ever worked with, they've never recognized the potential and how great they could really be. Now, he's getting ready to say that. But I want to say there's sometimes when you go to see someone and you're afraid to push one more time to close, which is for their best. It's their best to get them. Who's the best person to help someone? You are. If you're going to be honest with them, if you're going to have their interest at heart, if you're going to have that fiduciary relationship, which puts their interest over your interest. Most people don't put other people's interest over their own. I put other people's interest. I'm getting ready. What he's getting ready to read is I was going to push somebody that he may never come back and see me again, which I've done that to other people and they never came back. But I'd rather lose them and miss out on that money than that opportunity to completely have their life change. So don't you think next time you might ought to push a little bit more because it's in their best interest? Yeah, they might not do business with you. They might decide not to. But I'm not pushy. One time Sherry Puffer said, "You're a pit bull with a soft mouth." I never let go, but I never am rude or, I'm never too pushy. I just continue to have those soft closes. I smile and say, don't you want to have the best person to help you get your home sold tonight? All right, Alan, continue.
I was going to push Alan. Now understand, every person that I meet, I'm able to see past their own limited beliefs and see how great they can become. They can see a little bit or believe a little bit in themselves, but they do not know the potential of what's inside of them and what they can become. Keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, he had done well to go from $60,000 to $120,000. Alan had so much more potential and didn't have to work any harder.
Okay, stop right there a second. See, did you hear that? He didn't have to work any harder, could have made more money if he just did things better. It's what do I always talk about? Get better at what I teach. Do a little bit more, but get better at those things. Continue.
He just had to work smarter. That morning, as I'm getting ready in my home before I went downtown to the Spartanburg Marriott, I thought about what I was going to say to Alan to change his life. I always have a workbook, and I let each person read a chapter. When I got to Alan that morning, I said, "Alan, don't save me any more money. I'm kicking you out of coaching. Will you please read the next chapter?" I walked away, and he started at the break. He came up and said, "Coach, will you give me one more chance?" I said, "No. Told you 100 times you're prospecting for 30 days to 60 days, and then you take off 30 to 60 days, and you start up again and start over again."
Okay, stop right there. See, it's human nature that he would prospect 60 days in a row, and he'd go out and get 6 listings, 7 listings, 8 listings, then they'd be shown, they'd go into contract, and he would stop prospecting to handle the home inspections, to handle the problems, to handle the negotiating, to handle the closing. And then it's like go ahead. It's like a roller coaster ride. Go ahead.
And here it says right there in the workbook, look right here. It says in this workbook, probably 20 times, every day is the key. Prospecting must be done each and every day. So I'm done. At lunchtime, when we were coming back from lunch, he walked down the hall with me and said, "Coach, give me another chance." I said, "Nope, I'm done." When we finished that afternoon around 4:30, he said, "Can I carry your box out to the car?" I said, "Sure." As we got to the car, I popped the trunk. He said, "Coach, will you give me one more chance?" I said, "I tell you what, Alan, you go home tonight and write 500 times on a sheet of paper, 'Every day is the key,' and I'll let you stay in coaching." He said, "Okay." I
Okay,
can
stop.
say Alan is one of those people that I pushed.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I do not think many coaches would ever take the risk of kicking someone out of the program and losing that check in order to truly change their life. However, I am different. Money does not drive me. I'm driven by making people the best they can become. I'm committed to making them better. In most cases, I want it more for them than they do themselves. Is it from my childhood and my dad wanting me to give my best? Yes. Is it from being in school and being that nerd and being that small kid on the playground that struggled to be his best, but still wasn't good enough? Yes. Was it that Marine in boot camp that was the smallest recruit that became a Presidential Guard? Yes. There's something inside of me that always wants to be the best, something that always wants to make others be the best. Iron sharpens iron, which means people sharpen each other to do better.
That's good, right there.
Okay.
You know, I want to go to, I said to Alan that morning before 10 o'clock, 10:30 when he was reading. He was about the third person, fourth person to read. And I said, "You're out of coaching." And I knew he was going to come up to me and say, "I want to stay in." And I knew he was going to ask me a couple of times. But I knew that I was going to tell him everything that he is now saying. Continue. I want to get to it.
Okay. Many times I try to push someone to get better than they could imagine. They never come back. To be greater than they could imagine, they never come back. They're offended and feelings get hurt. But see, I want to push them and for them to reach out like I'm pushing them off a cliff. I want them to reach and grab my arm and let me pull them to greatness, to let me change their life. The story is Alan went home that night and he and his wife had not been married very long. And he was sitting at the kitchen table and she said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, the coach said if I write 500 times, 'Every day is the key,' I can stay in coaching." Well, I think she said a few choice words and they probably weren't that nice. In fact, he stopped writing it. The next morning, he got to the parking garage, finished writing it, and brought it to me. Here in my office, as I opened the drawer to my desk, right here are those 500 times, "Every day is the key." I keep it because it shows me that Alan made a choice to help himself and that he allowed me to help him as well.
That's good. Okay. Let me give you something. If you look right here, how to communicate effectively in an uncommunicable world. And if we look right here at the 9 o'clock, where's 9 o'clock? Over here, is be calculative in what you say. Do you understand that everything that I did that morning from the time I got up and was calculative and saying, okay, this guy's making 100,000 a year. He can make over 300 a year. What am I going to say to make him finally change? Alan, I'm kicking you out of coaching. Don't send me any more money. Alan, what did I say at the end of the day? Alan, go home and write 500 times. Every day's the key. Because I knew if he stayed in coaching and he wrote that, his life would change. So I don't know if you need to read anymore. Do you see what it says? Is it something that needs to be said, or do you want me to continue?
How many days you missed?
Okay, that's what it says in the book. So I'll ask you, Alan, how many days have you missed since that day happened? Since you wrote 500 times every day's key? Since that's some
Zero.
Say it again.
0.
And that's what it says in the book.
Yes, sir.
0. And your income has gone from 120,000 to, if everybody will look right here, he went from 30. Is this the right sheet?
Mm-hmm.
30 to 60,000. And then when he got in coaching, he was averaging 120,000. And then after he wrote 500 times every day's the key, He went to 360. He's averaged 360 a year, which in 10 years is 3,600,000, which is 3 times more than he was making because he changed one thing. Every day's the key. And it is in the workbook 20 times. And if the people only understood, let's go back to what I was going to talk about for the next 7 weeks. The 7 steps to prospecting. Prospect every day. And how many days are we talking about? 243. We're not talking about 365. 243. And what will that do for you? Well, it made me one of the top 10 producers in the world. It made Sherry Puffer become an agent that made $1 million a year in Nashville. It made Alan Schwarzentrooper increase his income 3 times. And do you work any harder, Alan?
No, sir.
No. Well, by the way, the person that just read that in the book is Alan Schwarzentrooper, but he kind of gave that away at the beginning. You know, it's always one thing that I'm trying to get someone to do. And I challenge everyone that sees this call. You know, let me break it down for the person that may have never seen me. You just can't call anyone. You have to do high impact prospecting. And actually, I'm not trying to save my book, but in my book, in this chapter, Every Day is the Key, it explains everything about high impact prospecting. Who to call. It talks about past customers. It talks about forcible owners. It talks about expireds. It talks about farming. It talks about how to build a successful business. You know, I'm thrilled today that I've had a relationship with Alan for 20 something years. I've been coaching him for 20. But I'm thrilled most of all because here's a perfect example. Here's a real person that you see that's no different than you. You know, a lot of people say, I can't identify with Andrew. I wasn't a Marine. I wasn't a bodyguard for the president. I wasn't one of the top 10 producers. Well, Alan didn't guard the president. He wasn't in the Marine Corps. He hasn't been one of the top 10 producers. But he's one of the most successful people in real estate because he understands prospect every day. You know, next week we're going to talk about prospecting standing up, and I'm going to actually role play and do what I did in 1991, 92, 93, 94, and 95 to go from 27 closings to 300 closings. So I hope you'll join me next week when we talk about prospecting standing up. I hope you will think about joining me sometime this year in either one of the cities I'll be in. Actually, in the month of February, I will not be anywhere except in Greenville, South Carolina this week on the 4th and 5th. But I will be in Palm Beach Gardens in March, and I hope you'll take the time to come and see me. And I'll be in Northern Virginia in April, and I hope you'll come and see me. But before then, commit yourself to changing your life. To change what you do each day in your business will change your life. To change the activities you do, to change what you think about doing, and to change what you say to people. You know, what you think and what you say and what you do will determine where you will go in your life. So start today by changing what you think. And here's, let me give it to you. People need my help. Chapter 2. Chapter 3, I'm the best person to help someone. Chapter 4, Alan just read a little bit of it. Every day's the key. The key is to decide to get up each day, to go to work and do the right things. And if you get better at the right things and you don't quit, you too will become a multimillionaire in this industry called real estate. I hope you enjoyed today, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Any questions, call us at 1-800-948-1633, 1-800-948-1633. And if you personally want to talk to me, 864-909-1258, 864-909-1258. If you want to watch this again, you can go to Andrew Lacey Life Changer on TikTok or on YouTube under Andrew Lacey. Do me a favor. Change your life today by changing what you think and say and do. And give me the opportunity to change your life. Have a great day. Bye-bye.